In the series of talking about the relevance of privacy compliance for Indian businesses, let's continue our discussion and talk about vendor management today. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy. And as I said, we are going to talk about vendor management with respect to the Indian privacy compliances or with respect to creating a privacy compliance model program for Indian businesses. We have already talked about what the compliance program is and what is the importance of the compliance program for the Indian businesses. You should remember that we are almost at the verge of the law getting applicable in the next 10 to 15 days. The government has announced that the rules would be finalized by April 25. So we should start preparing ourselves. So we'll get 2 years to fully deploy it, but then, we have to start it somewhere. So we'll start it by creating a privacy team. We should have people who are responsible for taking care of privacy in the organization. We talked about performing data mapping and inventory. That is knowing what kind of data do we have. What part of it is personal, how is it being handled, and how is it stored in the organization. We talked about the processes and processing processes that the organization has to undergo when it comes to privacy. As far as processes are concerned, many organizations will already be processing personal information. So we need to relook at those processes and see if they can be improvised or can be set in alignment with the data privacy. We talked about the privacy principles where we define the purpose, the concept of minimizing data, right? So the purpose of collecting personal data should be clear. Minimum possible data should be collected, nothing extra to be collected. A clear consent taken from the principal whose data you have collected, a clear privacy policy defined within your organization to tell your organization how you are handling personal data, and a clear privacy notice issued to the public. So we have already prepared all these, and then we also spoke about the rights of individual data principles. And the next level of it is vendor management. Do you really outsource any part of data processing to any third parties? Many businesses do. Many businesses do it professionally. What kind of activity is very common that businesses outsource? It is marketing. Even social media marketing is outsourced, right? Many organizations, many individuals outsource social media marketing also. Marketing agencies are there, they're consulting firms. You outsource your accounting activities to accountants, you outsource your legal activities to legal, because all organizations cannot have 100% in-house accounts, in-house legal. And the fun part of it also is that even if you have complete in-house accounting systems, chartered accountants, CFOs, there has to be external audit, right? Depending on the size of the organization. And even if you have a complete internal legal team, when it comes to the court of law, you need to take a third party legal team because your on-board lawyers are not supposed to represent you in the court, especially when it comes to privacy cases as explained in GDPR, right? So such kind of activities are something which are like a standard that every organization would outsource. That means they would send personal data of their employees for sure, for business processing, for payroll processing, for relevance of accounts. They would also outsource a bit of data of their customers and vendors. Now, I paused when I said a bit of data. That would also, in many cases, involve personal data. Why? Because the respective account manager in terms of your vendors or the respective point of contact in case of your customers would be an individual, and you'll get his phone number and email ID and you'll share it with your accountant. Very, very simple, basic external consultants. Promotional activities, you deliver gifts, you deliver brochures, you deliver anything, you need a third party agency. Even if you say, I deliver invoices by courier, you need a courier agency. So you need a third party agency who's doing the dispatch of couriers for you, delivery of invoices also for you if physical invoices required. So you need to know and ensure that each of these vendors do take care of their data privacy. Right? They handle privacy very well. You need to ensure that you have done a proper vendor due diligence. Now, that also depends on the size of the organization. The volume or the type of due diligence depends on the size of the organization. Due diligence everyone should do. Right? Why I'm saying this is that if your organization is very large, then for sure you'll have a lot of vendors and you need to do their due diligence. But even if your organization is small at some level, you need to understand what kind of practices they do follow when they store personal data on your behalf of your customers, right, of your employees. What are the privacy clauses in the agreements or contracts that you have signed with them? What if a breach happens from their end? Do they take ownership of it? Are they responsible for it? And you should perform regular audits and take their compliance proofs. For larger businesses, it is very important because the volume of data could be very large. It could be significant also in terms of being sensitive personal data, right? So all organizations that process personal data should be very careful that their vendors also respect the privacy accordingly, as they are accountable if someone else's breach causes a damage, but the ownership of the personal information was with you, right? So you are therefore responsible for it. So that's about the vendor management in terms of privacy compliance program. In our next video, we should talk about the grievance addressal system and incident management, breach management. So stay tuned with my channel, subscribe to it, and share your feedback in the comment section. And if you like the content of this video, please press the bell and like icon. Thank you.